If I told you that President Trump lies, or even that he lies a lot, your response might be, well, tell me something I don't already know. But the number and how quickly the lies are coming, I think it might surprise you. It surprised me. Yesterday, the Washington Post fact checkers declared that Trump has told 10,000 false or misleading claims while in office. And yes, that number is escalating quickly. According to the Post, Trump's first 5,000 lies came in his 601st day in office. The second 5,000 took just 226 days. Again, I'll do the math for you. That's just 7 months. This is a surreal conversation. Now, to help us try and keep our sanity through all the lies and also help debunk some of the worst ones, we turn to Amy Siskine. Amy is president of New Agenda and also host of the Weekly List podcast. Also, she's the author of The List. It's a week-by-week reckoning of Trump's first year, and whatever worst fears you had have now been realized and have been on steroids, because I didn't think, or at least the consensus was, once he understands how Washington works, once he understood the gravity of the office, it humbles every person. It would get to him at some point. Campaign Trump will become President Trump. It's gone the other way.
Yeah, he has no plans to operate the way a democracy should operate. My fear when I started keeping the list is that his view was he was going to gradually take over our government and transform it into an authoritarian regime. And here we are 2 years in, and he's been remarkably efficient at doing so. And these lies are part of the plan to, from day one with the Bowling Green massacre and the size of the inauguration crowd, to set this alternative reality. And so you have the mainstream media and the people in our country that watch shows like yours that are sort of the real news. And then you have this alternative reality he's creating with his Twitter feed and with Fox News. And he's very simpatico with Fox News, of this alternative reality that his base can believe. And the velocity of the lies is also designed to exhaust us. I mean, in the first 5,000 lies came basically at a rate of 8 per day, and now we're up to 23 lies per day. So you're trying to decipher the news as it's in front of you versus what he's telling you, and a lot of Americans just start to turn away.
Well, maybe the answer to this question doesn't really matter, but do you think he knows he's lying? There's a recent Wisconsin rally that he did, where it ranged from the mundane to the ridiculous to the serious. He talks about things like coups. I mean, coups in America, right? And then he talked about setting a record for the most people. Like, no one, there's no possible way to measure it. And then he went into all this minutia based off of a lie. So do you think he knows he's lying? Do you think he believes that there's a different variation of truth that you and I and the rest of civilization lives with, and then there's his standard? Again, it may not matter, but in trying to understand this, sometimes he lies to when he doesn't even have to.
Yeah, I mean, I continually joke, I wish I had 2 degrees, one in psychology and one in law. So to answer your first question, is he mentally healthy that he realizes he's lying? I can't opine to that, but I can see from the beginning that he's used it as a tool. So it's irrelevant in his mind whether he is believing those facts. What he's doing with the coup, which actually has been in play for several weeks, is giving his base a cognitive dissonance to believe that the people attached to the Mueller probe, the 18 angry Democrats, even though Mueller's a Republican, etc., are out to get him, that this was a coup to undermine him. So ultimately, if we do start impeachment hearings, if we do find, through public testimony that there's more to this report than we can see that in the redacted parts, and we go down that road, he's going to tell his base, they're removing me and we need to be violent and on the streets. So it's very much a device. I'll be honest,
when I first was going through this, I would have thought you were going in a place that, well, it's harder and harder to dismiss it, that there is no line. And I want to play a clip, because this was something extremely recently the president had to say on the subject of abortion, and he morphed the debate over Roe. Not that I understand that there is a debate in 2019, but anyway, the debate over it, he turned that into baby killing. Take a listen.
Your Democrat governor here in Wisconsin shockingly stated that he will veto legislation that protects Wisconsin babies born alive. Born alive. The baby is born. The mother meets with the doctor. They take care of the baby. They wrap the baby beautifully. And then the doctor and the mother determine whether or not they will execute the baby. I don't think so. Yeah, late term. But this is where the baby is actually born. It came out, it's there, it's wrapped, and that's it. Who believes it?
No one should believe it because none of it is true. No, it's not like, oh, my opinion. None of it is true. He's the president. Now, I try not to have my head explode every day because then this all becomes white noise and it's all equatable. But my God, I mean, the irresponsiveness of that and the danger of that, that's crazy.
And to put that in some broader context, that was hours after the second synagogue mass shooting in our country in 6 months. And at that rally, rather than calm our country in normal times, that would be an opportunity for a leader to try to unite the country and tone down the rhetoric. He was leading chants of lock her up and CNN sucks. And he said he was proud that it was his sick idea to ship the immigrants to sanctuary cities. So that was just one of the many, like, whoa. But what is also disconcerting is how few people know that we've been so bombarded with these lies, that there were, I think, 45 that night, but we've just started to turn away. We are that frog in water coming to boil. Like, in many ways, we are living in an authoritarian state, and we can't even keep track of this stuff. And all those things are just meant to keep his 38% or thereabouts, the hatred of others.
But you know what? Here's where I'm conflicted. Everything, the 10,000, just put that in context, 10,000 lies from a president, not an administration, from just the president. And as Amy said, we are ramping up the velocity of this. He's lying more and more frequently with each passing day of his presidency. But if we react to every single lie that he does, then they all somehow become equal. And in many ways, it's what Democrats on the Hill are trying to do, which is to figure out, okay, are we going to focus on the financial records? Are we going to focus on the tax returns? Are we going to focus on Michael Cohen and paying off the porn star? And if the menu becomes too huge, then it all becomes the same. So don't you have to pick and choose which lies to focus on?
Yeah, so that's what I do. Like, I make a list each week that you can read or listen to the podcast on Monday. So the lies are a device, again, they are the shiny coins, the distraction. But what we as citizens need to be doing is calling our elected officials and having them push back. There has to be some accountability here.
I will say, if I wanted to, think it was hyperbole a couple of years ago, there's been nothing to disprove the argument. So we'll see. But again, 10,000, a very big number and growing, and it's getting worse. It's not getting better. Amy, on that uplifting note, thank you so much. I appreciate it, as always, a few minutes. All right, coming up next, a member of both the House and the Oversight and Financial Services Committee will join us to talk about the president. Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney out of New York is up next. Stay with us.